What's up, everyone, and welcome to She Builds Beyond podcast, episode 1. It is the first episode. I am so excited to chat with you all again and just have a podcast again. I am really, really excited, and I know it's going to be amazing, and I hope you all love it so much. And before we dive in, I want to let you in on a quick announcement. I am running a new 3-day challenge called Position Your Range, and it's happening January 21st to the 23rd. You can sign up in the show notes below, but it's all about how to position your range as a multi-passionate. If you're struggling with over explaining yourself, you might be struggling with your messaging a little bit as a multi-passionate. You want to combine your interest into a profitable personal brand and really grow and scale your business. This is the challenge for you. You can sign up below. So, episode 1, what are we diving into? We are going to be talking a little bit about positioning your range as a multi-passionate and really positioning yourself online. I talk a lot about you don't need to niche, you don't need a hyper niche. You need to know how to position yourself, right? Especially online. There's millions of people who are doing very similar things. I always tell my clients, if I put you in the room with 10 other people who are doing the exact same thing as you, what makes you different, right? There's a lot of things that make you different, but from like a service level, from a coaching level, from, your offers, if everything is similar, what is going to help you stand out? And positioning is going to do that for you, right? But if you're multi-passionate, it can be hard to position yourself because you are good at a lot of things. So I'm going to be diving into positioning for the next few episodes and obviously diving in really in depth in our 3-day challenge. So if you've ever felt like, okay, I'm good at a lot of things, but I don't know how to really explain it, this is a really good episode for you to tune into. I get this way sometimes too. I'm definitely an overthinker with my messaging, and I feel like this happens to me all the time, especially with sales pages. I mean, the amount of times I have redone my membership sales page is absolutely bonkers because I'm like, oh, they won't get it. They're not going to understand this. Or I feel like this is too vague, yada, yada, yada. And sometimes we really are just overthinking. And I'm always, you can let them be confused. Not everyone is going to get what you do. And that's okay, right? But you want to be confident in your message and how you portray things. And the most important thing is you want to be confident in your positioning online, right? Especially when you're building a brand. You want to stand out, especially if you are starting to grow on other platforms. Why you? At the end of the day. So positioning is going to help you. So why do people get confused at the end of the day? Sometimes every post, maybe it sounds different, like a different person, a different you, right? Maybe you're not really rooted in your identity and a personal brand. Number 2, your offers feel random. I always say that if your offers feel super random and they're not aligned with your brand, it might be a little bit all over the place in your marketing. I always say your offers really come from the root of your brand and your identity. And that's a whole nother podcast episode we can get into. And number 3, you change how you describe things each week, right? Now, people don't really get confused. Sometimes they do, but I always say if you're confused, your audience is going to be confused. Let me say it again. If you are confused, your audience is going to be confused. It's not necessarily like, oh, your audience just always confused if you're multi-passionate. But if you're confused with everything that you're doing, you're kind of confused with your offers, your messaging, your plans, your brand, your audience will probably be confused. And that's when the sales can kind of lag, or that's when the growth kind of is halted, right? So we are going to be working on that, especially in the next few episodes and in the free challenge. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about when it comes to positioning is understanding your core message. This is huge. A core message is something that your business and brand is built upon, mostly your brand, right? Almost acts as a filter. It filters through your offers, it filters through your content. It is the main thing that you kind of come back to, right? It is like the root of your brand. And a core message can look very, very different for everyone. It could be a statement, it could be a belief, it could be a point of view, right? Like a core message, I could have the core message of like, you don't need a niche, you need a personal brand. That could be my core message that all of my content kind of filters through, right? So like if my core message is you don't need a niche, you need a personal brand, that's when I could talk about personal branding, being multi-passionate, business, offers as a multi-passionate, right? And it all comes back to that core message over like a specific niche, right? So your core message is not necessarily a niche. It could be who you help, a belief, a statement, a point of view, a story, a statement, right? Some type of message that you feel like summarizes your brand overall. That would be a core message, right? And then picture it as your umbrella, right? The core message is your umbrella, and everything underneath it is where your range lives. Your content topics, your pillars, your offers, etc. Like even like quit your 9 to 5 could be a core message, or Mel Robbins has the let them theory, right? I know that it's everywhere, but that is like a core message of hers. That is like the main thing. Her main shebang is like let them, right? So you can have a main core message that really identifies and summarizes everything that you do, and all of your range, your offers, your content falls under that core message and filters through. And that's how you allow your personal brand to stay cohesive, and it doesn't like, go off on like random tangents. It kind of keeps you in line with your personal brand so people aren't getting confused. So, in a sense, your core message, think of it as it doesn't have to be a whole paragraph. It doesn't have to be like 5 sentences. It could be a sentence or two. It could be a point of view. It could be a belief shift. It could be a story, like if your brand is built on a story. It could be a POV, right? It could be who you help. It could be an overarching, transformation, like, quit your 9 to 5 and start an online business, or quit your 9 to 5 and start an online digital product business as a stay-at-home mom. That could be your core message, and everything else kind of falls under it, right? So your core message is one of the most important things to identify and get in tune with if you are multi-passionate. The next thing is content without confusion. And this is going to be a big thing, and I talk about this all the time. You can be known for multiple things. It's 2026. We are done with one expert, one authority, one I help statement, right? One transformation, one problem. Now, some people will say otherwise, right? You don't have to just help someone with one thing. You don't have to just get one transformation for someone. You don't just have to be known for one thing. You can be known for multiple things. You can provide someone multiple transformations. You can help with multiple problems at the end of the day, right? If you are multi-passionate, you can help with multiple things. And that's when it comes to understanding your core message. And number 2, understanding what you actually want to be known for. This is huge. A lot of people are just known for what they thought would work, or what they thought would grow their business, or what their mentor told them. They're not known for something they want to be known for. I need you to take a look in the mirror and be like, what do I actually want to be known for? Right? So those are going to be your main topics. So you could be known for lifestyle. You could be known for nutrition. You could be known for business. You can be known for high ticket sales. What are 3 to 5 things that you want to be known for? Now, it doesn't just end there. I want you to picture those topics, just keep them in your head. Okay. So picking those 3 to 5 things that you want to be known for. And then I want you to develop your pillars. And what pillars are is they summarize what the topics are and how you say it. So a topic is boring. It's broad. Business can be a topic. Education can be a topic. Multi-passionate can be a topic. But a pillar summarizes that topic, right? So maybe one of your topics is sales. So maybe your pillar is selling without a sales call, right? Or maybe your topic is marketing, and your pillar is marketing for multi-passionates who do multiple things. Maybe your topic is nutrition, and maybe your pillar is nutrition for stay-at-home moms, right? Your pillar is almost a step further. That's what I want you to get more specific on. Your topics are broad and more tangible, right? They're kind of boring, they're broad, but that's not going to help you uniquely stand out. Your pillars summarize the topic, or they're a different angle of the topic, right? So you can come at different content when it comes to that angle, right? So, for example, one of my topics is personal branding. I talk about that a lot, but my unique angle and my pillar is, personal branding for multi-passionates who like to talk about multiple things. So underneath that, that's when I can produce content around personal branding for multi-passionates, right? That helps me stand out in a personal brand world, but I'm speaking to multi-passionates. So my angle is who I speak to. Your angle could be a problem you solve. Your angle could be a framework. So you have your content topics and your pillars. Just take it a step further. They're either an angle of that topic, summarize that topic, a framework of that topic, whatever it is. That's kind of how you are uniquely standing out. So same message, different angles. It's going to help your personal brand stand out. So we have your core message as your umbrella, your content topics, what you want to be known for, and then the pillars are how you say the topics. They are describing the topics, and that's kind of how you create that content that makes sense. And then when it comes to actually creating something that holds your range, a signature series is going to be very helpful for this. So you can pick one of your topics or one of your pillars or both and combine and create a signature series. A signature series is going to help you be able to grow. It's going to have multiple parts. It might have an overarching transformation or solve an overarching problem. It could be a series that is like educational to the camera, like welcome back to part 1 of how to grow a community of superfans. I did a series that helped me grow on TikTok called How to Create a Community of Superfans. It is the one thing that really helped me grow my TikTok, and I did multiple parts. I turned that into a free masterclass, something you can do. You could do a documenting style series that is like, come with me while I try, a new coffee shop every single week in the Louisville area. More documenting type B-roll series. A series is going to be a visibility strategy for you. It's going to help you grow. So you can pick one of these topics or pillars and create a series on it. So if my overarching core message is you don't need a niche, you need a personal brand. And one of my topics is personal branding. One of my pillars is personal branding for multi-passionates. I can create a signature series that's like how to grow a personal brand as a multi-passionate without niching, part 1, right? So everything's kind of coming together and being a little bit more cohesive, right? Now, I want to dive into a few common mistakes. So number 1, every time you feel a shift or a change, you don't have to rebrand every time. So if you feel like you're evolving as a human, your business is going to evolve. That's when it's important to take a step back and be like, am I evolving in my core message? Am I evolving in my content topics? Am I evolving in my pillars? Am I evolving in my offers, right? And offers will be another podcast episode that I will create for you all. So you don't have to rebrand completely every time you evolve. Sometimes there's just some slight shifts that have to happen. And oftentimes it starts with your core message. Hint, hint. Number 3, you don't have to have this picture perfect. Did I say number 3? Number 2, you don't have to have this picture perfect bio, like I help statement bio. I really don't think, honestly, fuck your I help statement. I'm sorry. You don't need this picture perfect I help statement to get your point across. Okay. I feel like people pull their hair out because of their I help statement and they change it all the time because they can't. It's hard to put something in that small bio of what you do, who you help, your framework, all of that. I mean, when people land on your profile, they want to know, okay, what are you going to help me with? Right? What do you talk about? What do you talk about? Right? And is there a few transformations that you can provide, right? I think that your bio can list like 3 to 4 transformations that you can provide. Your bio could list like topics that you talk about. Your bio could list your core message. Your bio could list a POV, a belief. Your bio could list a hot take, right? You don't have to suffer with the crazy I help statement right off the bat, okay? I don't even have a title on my Instagram. It just says Madison Tender because so half the time I don't know what to call myself and I own it, right? If I own it, it's completely fine, right? And number 3, assuming people will connect the dots, right? If you're multi-passionate, people may have trouble connecting the dots, but you have to connect the dots first and let your audience know what that connection is. So I would call that like a common theme. So a connection could be a person you help. Like I talk about a lot of different things, but my common theme is a multi-passionate. It could be an aesthetic. There's a lot of people who talk about very different things online, but they're filming in the same background, the same microphone. Their aesthetic is the connection, right? Your core message can be the connection if you like to talk about that. A common theme could be an overarching transformation and story that you keep sharing, right? You want to figure out how you can connect the dots, and that's going to be through a common theme and intersection point of your content. So, yeah, positioning your range, it can be a little bit difficult, especially for multi-passionates, but there is strategy behind it that does make it a little bit easier. So you want to get clear on your core message, your content topics, dig deep into your pillars, right? And understand that you will evolve. Things will evolve. Your business will change. You don't have to rebrand all of the time at the end of the day. And creating a signature series is fun. It's a way to connect the dots too, and figuring out that common theme. Like, what is going to be the intersection point of everything that you do? You could talk about digital products. You could talk about marketing. You could talk about lifestyle. You could talk about health. Those are all very different things. But if you're speaking to moms over 40, that connects the dots, right? So you just have to figure out, how am I going to be connecting the dots? And I'm going to help you with this and Position Your Range 3-day free challenge happening next week. You can sign up in the show notes. And thank you all for tuning in to episode 1. I'm so excited to keep this thing going, and I'll see you soon.